Bonjour, good afternoon. Hello, it's me, Corey Whitford. Broadcasting live from Treaty 2 territory right here at Government House. Today is December the 3rd, 2020. Now, quick. Bonjour, Circle Talks. We're going to show a video today. We're going to fulfill our mandate and our objectives of having an interview with Darlene Woodhouse, Regional Services Keeper. The Interlake Territory, and she's working in governance. Before I can begin the program, we just finished printing off a version of Mogs and Trail News on 11 by 17. It's in paper. When I look at it, it's got our voice, our time. Mogs and Trail News launched MTNLive.ca live online news. And then there's a story of the jingle dress ceremony that took place at Eagle Island. And then there's another story here of how our main source of communication is happening now under the pandemic. We've gone online. If I just scroll through the pages here, you can see that we're working very hard to bring you all of the stuff that you need to know, that you want to know. Hockey, sports, we've got a full-size poster of all of our programming that takes place. I'm just showing you this right now. If you'd like to go to Mogs and Trail News, to our latest edition, which just been updated, mogsandtrailnews.com. Again, right here, Circles News, right here, right at the top. We posted an article on behalf of Andrea Landry's Healing and Wellness as an Indigenous mother through land-based living. And we provided resources from a former youth in care. As well, we started identifying who our governing council is through advertising. If you scroll a little bit more here, got a few more stories about feelings, about how the government collected money on stats. So you go through the pages. It's a very interesting paper to read. We just got it fresh this morning, and so we're going to be reading through it. Right now, what I want to do is I want to count how many pages it's been printed on. We've got, right now I'm at 12 pages, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 pages. There are 20 pages on this newspaper. And there's our Declaration of Collective Rights and the People of Nations in Treaty 2 territory with respect to our lands, waters, and resources. Look at that. It was signed by our governing council of First Nations in Treaty 2 territory on the 29th day of August, 2018. So there you have it. Mogs and Trail News, hot off the press. The news portal for Treaty 2 territory and beyond. Me, my Jacques, and mogsandtrailnews.com. mogsandtrailnews.com. I'm doing a lot of stuff here, getting ready, hiring people, making sure that we have the technology to fulfill our mandate and our tasks. It's just a flurry of activity online, not a moment to lose. Moving ourselves from paper to being online on the internet. It's a beautiful way of communicating with our membership. We're going to go to our interview and share our interview that was completed with Darlene Woodhouse. February gonna Darlene when this interview in 2020, earlier this year, before COVID hit. And we want to showcase what we were doing just before Manitou Shop in Ewan showed up on our front door. But before we go to the interview, my friends, my relatives, ang music. Go carefully wherever you go today. If you're going shopping on this Thursday, this fourth day of the week, we want you to be safe wherever you are. We're hearing reports of people who get sick and then they go to the other side. So on this special day, I want you to take this advice seriously. Take care of your family. And remember that COVID, it's a serious threat and should be taken seriously. Coming up, interview with Darlene Woodhouse. Darlene serves the Interlake region, including Skowhegan, Lake Manitoba, Penamotang, Little Saskatchewan, Dauphin River, Lake St. Martin, Ningotos, with 6 different nations. And Darlene coordinates the objectives and the plans for the Shkabeg, the helpers in each one of our nations. And Shkabeg have already been identified, and they're already begun their work on the tasks and the objectives. And the way I understood it when I watched the video 3 times. And what I've learned from that, from watching the video over and over, is this: there's a sunset happening on the Indian Act in Canada. It's coming. The sunset of the Indian Act. That's another way of saying they're gonna do away with the Indian Act. They're gonna get rid of it. They're gonna stop it. And so what we got to do is we have to consult with our own people within our own nations. We have to make sure that we have a plan going forward like we always did under natural law. And now that we're here united under this banner, Treaty First Nations and Treaty 2 territory, now that we are uniting as a collective, over 12,000 membership plus and growing, I want to say that the time has come where we will begin to create our own laws as we once had before. I come to appreciate and respect what we're doing here at the Treaty 2 Government Office. And on behalf of the nations, I'm encouraging you. Let's look forward. Let's build forward together for our future generations. This is where it begins, right here. Ground zero, with your Shkabeg in each one of your communities that have been assigned, each one from each community, assigned to find people to interview, to collect information, historical fact, historical data on our governance procedures, the way we used to govern one another, the way we used to work when we were gathered as a collective. I hope that clarifies the message we're sending today, and it's this: one day the Indian Act won't be here. What will replace it? Us. We will replace it with our own laws, our own governance, our own governance structures. So with that, we're going to have an interview for you, which was previously recorded in February 2020. And we're going to rerun that interview for you here this afternoon because it's very fitting and it's very timely too in this day and age in December of 2020. Oh, Here's Darlene Woodhouse, Regional Services Keeper. Check this out.
Hello, my name is Darlene Woodhouse. I'm from Pinemudang First Nation. I'm the Regional Services Keeper for our Government of Treaty 2. I work out of our Pinemudang Regional Office and I started in August of 2019. My role in Treaty 2 is to work with local nation helpers, and we have one in each community. We have 11 communities that are part of Treaty 2, and we have one local nation helper in each one. I work with 6 of the communities, which is Lake Manitoba First Nation, Pinemudang First Nation, Little Saskatchewan, Lake St. Martin, Dauphin River, and Skownan First Nation. The work that we are doing is in governance. And what we're doing this first year is working with the communities to develop our own draft constitution for each of our communities that we live in. And part of the work is we have a template that we use, and we work with the committee. We have selected community members to sit in each local First Nation. That we have a committee in each one. And what we do is we meet regularly and we discuss the Constitution. And part of the work is to start with the history of the community as well, and how the community was governed before the treaties, and subsequently after that there was the Indian Act. So we're doing a history and research on all of the things that have happened to our people, including the present day, even with the Indian day schools and even the residential schools, and how everything affected our people, and even the education, and how important it is for our people to get their education and to get the language. So part of the work that we are doing is the history of the community, and that we need to get those things back. We need to teach the little children the language, because that is so important, because that is our identity. And the best way to learn the language right now, I was talking to a retired teacher, and one of the things she said is, because we're losing the language, the younger generation, the parents do not speak the language already. And part of that, the reason for that is because of the schools before, we were told not to speak the language, and we didn't want to teach our children that language just because we were told not to speak our language and when we were going to school. But part of the reason is, part of the way to teach our children is to teach them at a young age. That's the best time for them to learn our language. So we should do that now. Because there are some places already that have lost their language altogether, and while we still have our language, and governance work, part of it is toward self-government. The reason for that is because the federal government has said that they're going to sunset the Indian Act. That means they're going to get rid of the Indian Act. And we need to be prepared. If we're not prepared with our own laws, which would be a constitution, the election code, or it could be as well as the membership code, all the laws that we need to govern ourselves, we need to make those ourselves in our own communities by our own people. We can't have someone come in and tell us, these are your laws, this is what you have to follow. Our people have to take ownership and write up the laws themselves, and then after that's done, this year, once we do a draft constitution, we will be taking it to the communities, to the people, band membership meetings, to get ratification and to introduce the Constitution, to tell the people in the community what the Constitution is and what is the reason for a Constitution. And the reason for the Constitution is because if we do not, what we've been told is, if we do not have our own laws ready, if we don't have a Constitution ready, when the Indian Act is gone, we could be under a municipal style of government that could be imposed on us. But instead of waiting for that to happen, we need to be active now. We need to educate our people now, and we need to get moving on our own laws so that we could become self-sufficient. And because under the treaty, we are a sovereign nation. We never gave up our rights to govern ourselves, and we need to take that back, because that was taken from us. And we are Anishinaabe people, and we should stand up for our people, for the younger generations. Kichimiigwech.
Wake Darlene Woodhouse, Regional Services Keeper. Weti Otanokatan. Apajigachimi, Wechkonjagan opened the wake me away. I was not there, but once again, I'd like to thank all the viewers tuning in today on this special day. Beautiful day out here in Treaty 2 territory at the Government House. That was Darlene Woodhouse, our Regional Services Keeper, part of the Government of Treaty 2, and she started in August 2019. And Darlene works in governance and uses a template and fills out that template as it shows. And she meets regularly with her Shkabeg, and she shares the importance of the development of the Constitution in each nation. And she shares the importance of teaching the language to our young people. Our noon hour broadcast on December the 3rd, 2020. For more information, you can visit our website at www.treaty2.com, or you can go online to magazinetrailnews.com. The December issue is now available online. The December issue is now available by going to magazinetrailnews.com. That's Magazine with 2 C's and 1 S. Magazine. It's been a pleasure broadcasting here this afternoon over the noon hour, live from the Government House in Treaty 2 territory. There was a question that was posed last night to me personally, and the question is this, and it's a very intuitive question for me too, and people who are big into the exact location, the GPS location. One question I put to you out there today. I'm looking for your support. Help me to understand too, so that I may share it with our future generations on our broadcasts. And it's this. My question is, where exactly can you pinpoint where Treaty 2 was signed? Where exactly? Would you be able to show me a picture of that land? Would you be able to show me exactly where it took place? Was it in one house? Was it in a field? Where was it around a fire? That's the one burning question that's in my mind and in my heart. I would like to know, where was Treaty 2 signed exactly? If you could share that with me. Nija Anishinaabe of Treaty 2. If you could help me, tell me where Treaty 2 was signed exactly, and we'll bring that information to you on our next or on our following broadcasts. But for now, we're getting your comments, we're getting your emails. Remember to email us, and here's the email once again: news@mtnlive.ca. If you're out there, my friend, help me to understand where exactly the treaty was signed at Government House in Minnesota, Manitoba. I will see you again at 3 p.m. Ahamsa Minor Giga Wabamigo.